we are going to review an enhanced cybersecurity of your existing network. And we are going to record this webinar, so if that's okay with everyone. And if you have any questions, you could please write it down in the chat, and then we will take it in the end of the webinar. And who is attending today from Phoenix? It's me, Carola Christensson, who is Business Solutions Manager for the energy sector. And we have Daniel Stigell, who is Application Engineer. And then we are having JJ Sun, who is Network and Cybersecurity Specialist. And I will hand over to JJ here.
Good morning, everyone. This is JJ speaking from Phoenix Contact in Sweden. Welcome to our Network and Cybersecurity webinar for power electricity. I hope you will enjoy today. In our first episode, we have explained why power electricity are so prone to cyber threat, and we also explained the fundamental knowledge of cybersecurity. Today, we will dive a little bit deeper to discuss how to improve cybersecurity even without making change to existing network architecture. And this is today's agenda. We will start with a very quick review of the existing power electricity network, including distribution automation networks and also DER networks. And we will point out the key network architecture defeat about the existing network and how to improve this by using network segmentation. Many of you might already heard about network segmentation, but what network segmentation exactly is, we will give you a more clear definition. And what does it mean to cybersecurity? Why is it so important? We will also give you a guideline of how to improve implementing this network segmentation. And to implement network segmentation can be quite challenging to existing network. And this is what we are going to show you today, how Phoenix Contact can help. Okay, let's jump into our webinar. The first slide, let's start with the existing distribution networks. A distribution network is a large network system, consists of a control center and a huge number of field side devices or field side devices like secondary substations and RTUs and so on. The remote field side are very often connected by wired or wireless. In the case of wired communication, very often we use, for example, SHDSL extender, fiber media converter, or unmanaged switches, unmanaged Ethernet switches. For wireless, the cellular routers is connected via VPN communication, or using radio, or even use wireless access point. And when those kind of systems were built in the past, mostly all these components got configured into one single IP subnet. So from cybersecurity, from today's point of view, such kind of large flattened network is a big no-no. Either the attacker from the external world, or someone is insider, or a human mistake inside the internal network can easily hack down the whole network. So this is forbidden. This is a very, very unsecure situation. And when it comes to the DER network, such as wind power, solar energy, or electricity storage, very often they are built in the form of farm, or like wind farms, solar farms, or battery farms. A farm consists of a local control station and a number of energy units. And then the farm is connected to the client's network, either by router or by a firewall. And there are two common types of network architectures in a farm. One is a single subnet architecture, where the control station and the energy unit are connected into one single subnet. There's another kind of architecture like using a native and a network address translation. So by using this technology, the benefit is to modularize each energy unit as one single unit, so that each energy unit has its own internal IP subnet, and then it can be separate from the outside, for example, from the control station. That's another subnet. So they have different subnet. They are separated. As we know, such kind of a single subnet is a big no-no in terms of cybersecurity. But how about NAT? In this case, is it more secure? So from an attacker's point of view, what are the difference among this network architecture? By using an extender or media converters or unmanaged switches, it means that all the devices are connected into one single subnet. It's very like you are putting all the employees into one big office space without segmentation. It's free access for anyone without any protection and privacy. In the router, a router can separate a network into two or more network segments, and the router acts as like a gateway to forward the traffic among them. Just like you have a separation in your office space, but it's a transparent window, transparent door. You can see through, you can walk in and out the room freely. It's fully accessible. From this room to that room, it's fully accessible without any protection or privacy. The NAT, the network address translation, and probably is a bit better. The rooms are separated and are partially covered. So you can see it through. Some part you cannot see, some part you can see. So it depends on your network address translation configuration. How do you mapping the network addresses, or how do you configure a port forwarding mechanism? So although this is a partially accessible, but it's still without any access control and no protection. So in this case, for attacker, it's very easy to attack, unless you have certain kind of security measures applied between the rooms. For example, we say staff only or managers only. There is a privacy, and this is what we do in the office space, and this is what we should do for network system as well. So that is so-called network segmentation. Network segmentation is one of the most important countermeasure and one of the foremost steps to enhance cybersecurity. And that is required by most of the standards and cybersecurity guidelines of frameworks, such as ISO 27001, ISO 27019, IEC 24433, or the critical infrastructure protections and frameworks and so on. So, and as we just explained, network segmentation is not only break down a big space into smaller rooms. You should apply countermeasures. So the first step is to divide a zone in a network into smaller zones. Here we call it zones. And between the zones, there are traffic go in and out. The paths go in and out, we call it conduit. And you should enforce cybersecurity control between the conduit. So as shown in this picture, if you do not have any segmentation in the office, you get a lot of noise disturbance. So what we do is break a big office into a room. So we have lobby, reception, manager's room, and administration room, server rooms, and so on. Each room you can assign its purpose. And between each rooms, the rooms, you see the aisle. So this is what we call the conduit. The traffic going in out there, and you should apply cybersecurity mechanism to make sure the traffic go in and out, for example, to the manager room are controlled so that we achieve certain level of privacy. This is the concept of network segmentation. And many of you might think about or heard about network segmentation, and might think of it is to use a firewall. But the meaning of network segmentation to cybersecurity is more than that. Network segmentation can make your network cleaner and safer. So firstly, you sit in a room, so there is less noises, less disturbance, so you work there higher performance. It's very similar to network system. Your device is protected in a zone, so that, for example, like traffic, like broadcast traffic, multicast traffic, you get less noises. They are blocked. So your device has higher performance. Your system will have higher performance. Secondly, you can control the traffic. So that making the spreading of the malware or attack more difficult. This is one of the very important thing. The third one is, since you have separated the room, you can assign different purpose of each room, right? So just like we have a control cabinet or a control center, in each location or in each different part of system, they have their purpose. So you can think about what is the security requirement in each different subsystem and require and apply the countermeasures to them. So for example, in this case, this is a quiet study room. You can ask people who want to go into this room should, for example, turn off the cellular phones, laptop, and other electronics. So this is the same. You can do similar things to your network system. For example, in the control room, the device are high-end, more powerful, so that you should protect your system, for example, using antivirus softwares and so on. But for the secondary substation or the RTU, the device layer is simpler. So you can using other kind of countermeasure to do within a zone to protect your system. The last one is, since you have the zone separated, so in the case of cybersecurity incidents, you can isolate that zone to reduce the spreading of breaches so that you can protect the other part of your system. So this is also very important, a big benefit of doing network segmentation. Here comes a guideline for you. For you who want to implement network segmentation in your system, we will suggest you to start with a reference model. There are different type of reference model. Here we show you is a Purdue model. It's from IEC 62264-1. So take a reference model as a starting point and adapt to your network if necessary. The Purdue model breaks down the whole network into 5 levels. It contains the IT network and the OT network. In the OT network, it starts from the level 0. Process level, it has like sensors, meters, actuators, and so on. On the field level, you have the smart devices like RTU, IED, all those things. And on the level 2 is a station level, local station level. You may have a touch panel or a SCADA system. And up there is the operation level. You will have your EMS system or historical workstations, some things like that. Okay. The next step is try to do a practical small zone. Break your network into a small zone. Yeah, practically. So, for example, like this. Ideally, you can separate each device into one zone. That's the best situation. So you protect each single device. However, this is not practical. So the good suggestion is that, for example, in the distribution network, to divide the RTU cabinet or a substation, a secondary substation in a zone is very small and it's more practical. And the third one is, try to keep the subnet size close to number of devices. This means that when you do network configuration, IP address configuration, and subnet mask configuration, the configuration should close to the number of devices. Why should we do this? Because this will help you to create more accurate firewall rules afterwards. So in the end, what you should do is to apply the least privilege principle. to enforce cybersecurity control between the zones. That's what we call the conduit. So between the zones, the traffic go in and out, go in and out. And you should apply cybersecurity control over there. Okay, so what does it mean, least privilege principle? This means that we block everything except for those things are necessary. So only the necessary thing can go through the zones. That's the basic principle. So this is how you should implement network segmentation. However, to imagine that how to implement network segmentation into an existing network can be quite challenging. The biggest challenge can be how to segment an existing network without architecture change. So without changing the network architecture or without changing the network configurations. Do you need to change the IP addresses? Do you need to change the programming and so on? The second one is how to configure a more accurate firewall rules among in the conduit. And this is quite important because the firewall is a firewall. Unless you can you can nicely configure the firewall rules, it takes effect. Otherwise, it does not take effect. The third one is the solution should be affordable, should be cost effective. And here, Phoenix Contact here, we would like to let you know we are your trusted partner of industrial cybersecurity. Phoenix Contact has almost 100 years of history, and we have a very strong history of cybersecurity. We are a pioneer of industrial cybersecurity since 2001. We deliver high quality made in Germany products that have served thousands of customers worldwide. And our organization also certified with IEC 2443-4-1 security product development and also IEC 2443-2-4 security service provider certificate. And this is what we are going to show you today, the new mGuard 1100 series firewall. It is an affordable product that can help you to do network segmentation and to improve your security for the existing network in an easy and fast way. The key point is that this device can segment the network without architectural change, and the device can protect your subnet, either it's two subnet architecture or one subnet architecture. It helps you to do automatic traffic scanning to catch the network, catch the traffic goes through the zones, and you can see what you need and take that as your firewall rule. Why this mGuard 1100 can fit into your existing network? Because it supports three modes, operating mode. The first one is router and firewall. As a router, the mGuard 1100 can sit between two zones in two different IP subnet. In this case, and as a firewall to filter out the unwanted packet, unwanted traffic. The second case is that this device can be a net switch or net router and plus firewall, so that it sits between two zones, between two IP subnet, and translate the internal IP address to external IP address as you wish, and also offer firewall protection between the zones. And the last one is this device can sit into one single IP subnet. Even the IP address are within one single subnet, the device can break it down, break it into two parts, break it into zone 1 and zone 2, so that even you have an existing network with a single IP subnet structure, the device still can help you to do cybersecurity. So for example, in the distribution network, you can simply add mGuard to your cabinet next to your SADG as an extender or fiber media converter or managed switches in your secondary substation or RTU cabinet. And then the device will break it into two zones, even they are still sharing the same IP address subnet. So break it into the zones. So now these zones are separated, and this act as a firewall to filter out the traffic. In the case of DER network, whether network architecture is NAT or not, by adding mGuard to each energy unit, that can help you to break it down to different zones and to offer cybersecurity among them. And in the case of NAT, you can replace your NAT switches so that it's just not only break down into the zones, also help you to do the security, by its firewall functionality. The very beautiful thing of this device is that its firewall functionality is simplified and automated for you to configure accurate firewall rules. By using its bidirectional traffic scanning, you can catch and see what kind of traffic is actually go in and out between the zones. And then you can decide which one you want and which one you don't like. This one and this one should be filtered out and add those you need to the firewall rules. So the firewall rule can be very, very accurate. So to configure accurate firewall rule is no longer a complex task. So with this new mGuard firewall, you can secure your existing network very fast and easy. So this is today's webinar. It's very short, but we would like to deliver several key concepts. The first one is existing power distribution network and DER networks are prone to cyber threats and human mistakes. Even the NAT network architecture is not good enough. So network segmentation is a high priority, most important thing for you to implement or to enhance the cybersecurity. And network segmentation is to dividing a large and flat network into zones and also conduits to help to enforce security policy, countermeasures to risks and restrictions between the zones. We Phoenix Contact has a new security firewall that offers you a simple and affordable solution to do network segmentation, even without changing your network configuration. And this is our webinar today. I hope you enjoy it. Do you have any question? Okay, if there is no question, I will hand over my microphone back to Carola.
Thank you, JJ, and thank you for a very good presentation. Just a short reminder that we are going to have a few more webinars in this series, and the next one is coming on 12th of November, and that's how you make the most of firewall. And then the next one after that is the 10th of December. Is easy or security first? So what you should think about. And then we are having the last one this year. It's 29th of December. That's the mGuard 1000 series, not routing and firewall rules. So please stay tuned and listen. But we will send out some invitation for this. But just remind it. Thank you.
Thank you.